Hello everyone and welcome back to Car Venus 14. Yes, it has been an eon, but as you guys know, my upload schedule is upload for a while and then stop. And then upload for a while and then stop. So yeah, here we are again. And this time we're back with some more Genshin Impact content. Yeah, today we're actually going to take a look at some of the new characters that are supposed to be coming out in patch 4.1. Now, we've already been drip marketed this week on Monday about prioritise as well as Neuvilette coming out. But today, well, actually it was last night, if you're living, well, since I'm based in the UK, the information was actually released basically while I was sleeping at around 11 o'clock. So, yeah. I couldn't exactly make a video then, but now it's the morning of the next day, so I decided, why not? Let's make a video. And we're going to start off this video with Neuvilette. Now, I'm not going to spoil anything. Actually, I probably will because of the skills in the video, so... spoiler alert, if you guys have not done the Archon quest yet, some of the skills here might actually have some spoilers for the actual story and things like that. So your chance to turn away is right now. So do turn away now if you want. If you don't care for spoilers too much, then that's fine by me. But yeah, you've had your chance, guys, to turn away. So yeah, we will actually carry on with the actual story. I mean the actual character bio of Neuvilette. So yeah, Neuvilette is a 5-star Hydro Catalyst user from Fontaine. So yeah, he's a Catalyst user, he's the Hydro element, and these are the materials that he's actually going to be using. Now, obviously, obviously it's not going to be fair for everyone to know where you get these materials and stuff. So... he's going to need, to actually level his character up, he's going to need a Fontima Horn, which you can get from the Millennial Pearl House. Pearl Seahorses, sorry, Pearl House. Where did I get house from? Yeah, also going to need Lumitoil, and we're going to need the Transoceanic Pearls. I believe the Transoceanic Pearls you actually get from, like, the sea creatures underwater. His talent materials are going to require the Teachings of Equity, or the Equity books, or scrolls, I should say, as well as the Ever Amber from the World Boss, I believe. Yeah, a Pep. Ah, okay, he's going to need a Pep stuff. All right. So, yeah, there's that. As for anything else, that's basically his basic rundown. So, as you guys can see, these are his stat spreads. So, he's going to have a bonus crit damage scaling, it looks like, which is very, very nice. And as for his actual stats, you can see there that his attack is 208, which is actually very, very low for a 5-star, if you didn't know. I believe, like... most 5-stars on average have around 230-ish, 240, maybe the lowest of 220. But yeah, you can see that he's not based off of attack, so he's probably going to be based off of something else, right? Well, his max HP is 14,695. And if you guys remember, that is the exact same amount of HP that both Zhongli as well as Hu Tao has. In fact, I believe the only characters that have more than him are Yelan as well as Hu Tao. So, yeah. So it seems as though he's going to be a HP-based character, which is going to be pretty cool, I would say. I mean, he is a Hydro character at the end of the day, so having HP scaling in his kit kind of makes sense because of the way Hydro works. Now, I already, just to let you know, guys, I have already read through all of Neuvilette's kit, so I will try my best to keep things a little bit simple, because as you can see from this wall of text here, that his charge attack is what's actually going to be the main point in his kit. So his normal attacks just do 3 instances of Hydro damage, but this is where it gets interesting. So his charge attack empowerment legal evaluation. While charging up his charge attack, Neuvilette will gather the power of water, forming into a seal of aberration. In this state, Neuvilette can move and change facing. So basically, he can just move around, really, while he's charging up. And also absorb any source water droplets in a certain AoE. Now, source water droplets are actually a part of Neuvilette's kit that come on later in the actual video. So, yeah. Every droplet he absorbs will increase the formation speed of his seal and heal Neuvilette based on his max HP. So there's the max HP scaling that is going to be that's going to be in his kit. It's going to do with the healing of the source water droplets. When Well, when the charging is stopped, if the symbol has yet to be formed, then a charge attack will be unleashed. So a regular charge attack, right? But if it has been formed, then a charge attack Equitable Judgment will be unleashed. So he's got 2 charge attacks. A regular one, which happens if he doesn't complete the seal, and an upgraded one, which will actually happen if he, fully charges up and creates the seal. So yeah. Now, charge attack. His regular charge attack consumes a fixed amount of stamina to attack opponents with a rupturing ring of water, dealing AoE hydro damage. This is his second charge attack, his upgraded version, or the better version, which is the version that you will be going for all the time when you're playing him. It's the charge attack Equitable Judgment. Unleashes a surging torrent dealing continuous AoE hydro damage to all opponents in a straight line area in front of him. So basically again, another spoiler alert if you haven't actually seen his leaked gameplay, because his leaked gameplay was actually available last night, and I did actually wake up to see it, but unfortunately, it's actually been deleted. I actually can't find the video anymore, so I was going to link it in the actual description box below for anyone that was interested, of course. It's your choice to click on it or not, but I was going to link it, but unfortunately, I can't actually find that video on YouTube anymore. So it must have been taken off YouTube by either Hoyoverse or the content creator itself, because he got a warning, but I can't actually find the video anymore. So yeah, a little bit of an annoyance there, but ayo, it is what it is. Basically, it's a little bit like a laser beam when he does this one. It's really cool looking. Equitable Judgment does not consume any stamina and lasts X amount of seconds. If Neuvilette's HP is above 50%, he will continuously lose HP while using this attack. So basically, if he's using Equitable Judgment, guys, Neuvilette is not going to consume any stamina, which is really good, because obviously stamina is very important in this game for dodging and dodging attacks and swimming and exploration and stuff like that. So the fact that his charge attack doesn't actually consume any stamina is actually really good. At least his, Equitable Judgment version. Plunging attack is just, he basically turns into Hydro and does damage in Hydro. That's basically it. So these are the scalings here, guys. The normal attack combo, as well as the regular charge attack damage, you are not going to care about at all. Most likely, you will never be using his normal hits as well as his regular charge attack. You will never be using the top 4 rows, so you probably will never need to look at them or even have a care for them at all. Even the stamina cost as well. That won't really matter too much. What is going to matter, though, is the charge attack equitable damage. You can see here that his equitable judgment, right, is actually scaling off of his max HP. So you can see here that the max HP is going to be very important for Neuvilette. So it seems as though you kind of want to build him around max HP. So yeah, and at different intervals, obviously 10.64% at level 6, 12.51% at level 8, and 14.47% at level 10 if you're going to crown him. So pretty respectable multipliers, to be honest. The HP restored is 16% of his max HP for every single droplet. So every single source water droplet that he picks up to form the seal, he heals himself by 16% of his max HP. And it's a fixed amount. The loss is 8% of his max HP every half a second. So he does lose HP quite rapidly, but only until he gets to below 50%. Below that point, he won't lose HP anymore. And it's always going to be that. The plunge attack damage and the low, that's all whatever, really. So, yeah. Now, this is a new, well, it's actually not Neuvilette, it's actually Neuvilette. Yeah, once again, I won't spoil anything. O tears I shall repay. Summons a raging waterfall that deals AoE hydro damage to opponents in front of him. After hitting an opponent, this skill will generate 3 source water droplets near opponents. You can see, guys, that after this is the thing that creates source water droplets. Well, this and the burst. So yeah. So basically, when Neuvilette does his elemental skill and it deals damage to opponents, he'll create 3 source water droplets. So 3 source water droplets will heal him, as well as increase the actual speed of the seal stack build up. So yeah, and then Arcane Pneuma. So if you guys don't know what the Arcane Pneuma and Arcane Uzia is, they're basically 2 different types of extra forms of what's it called? Like, not really elements, but more like damage types or faction types, whatever you want to call them, really. So Pneuma and Uzia are 2 different types of artificially created things in Fontaine, that is another form of damage. So yeah, Numa and Uzia both do different things. I'm pretty sure Numa deals like I don't actually know the exact difference because I haven't actually pulled for any Fontaine characters yet, so I have no experience with them. All I know is that Numa and Uzia are two different types of damage, and each character has a different type of alignment, whether it's Numa or Uzia. And it seems as though Neuvilette is Numa, so all the Fontaine characters are going to have this RK Uzia or RK Numa. At certain intervals, when the Raging Waterfall descends, a Spirit Breath Thorn will emerge that will pierce opponents, dealing Numa-aligned Hydro damage. So this, if it was Uzia, if he was Uzia, it'd be Uzia-aligned Hydro damage, stuff like that, basically. And as you can clearly see here, the Elemental skill also scales with max HP. You can see that so far, Neuvilette does not have a lot of attack scaling in his actual kit. Hence why his base attack was so low. So yeah, it goes, so 18% at level 6, 20.58% at level 8, and 23.16% if you crown him at level 10. The Spirit Thorn damage is going to go 29.12% at level 6, 33.28% at level 8, and 37.44% at level 10. Spirit Thorn interval, so basically the Arcanuma interval can only occur once every 10 seconds, basically. So yeah, and then the Source Water Droplet duration. So basically when Neuvilette drops his elemental skill, or uses his elemental skill, these Source Water Droplets will be available to use, and they will last on the field for 15 seconds. So you've got a long time to basically pick these up. And the duration is, the cooldown is 12 seconds. So after, I'm not actually, it doesn't actually say in his kit that the Source Water Droplets will be refreshed, or if they say they'll be replaced by the new one, but I'm presuming they'll be replaced by new Source Water Droplets. So yeah. And then this is his Elemental Burst. O Tides, I have returned. Unleashes a rupturing wave that will deal AoE Hydro damage based on Neuvilette's max HP. Again, more max HP scaling here. After a short interval, 2 waterfalls will descend and deal hydro damage in a somewhat smaller AoE, and will generate 6 source water droplets within an area in front. So basically, guys, he'll do a massive area of effect, hydro damage, that scales off of Neuvilette's max HP, and then he'll do 2 smaller AoEs that will also generate 6 source water droplets. So basically, even more source water droplet stacking. The skill damage is also scales with his max HP, and the waterfall damage also scales with his max HP. So yeah, at level 6 it's 31.16, at level 8 it's 35.61, and level 10 it's 40% of his max HP. The waterfall damage is 12.75%, level 8 is 14.57%, and 16.39% at level 10 of his max HP. The cooldown is 18 seconds, and the energy cost is 70. So it's not decently high, but it's kind of on the expensive side, if you know what I mean. So yeah, it's the cheapest expensive option out of all of them. So yeah, we'll take a look at passive talents now. So this is his overworld passive talent, nothing to do with combat, just world exploration. All party members' underwater movement speed will be increased by 15%. So this is only when you're underwater, guys. And as far as I'm concerned, apparently Fontaine is the only region which you can actually swim underwater in. You can't swim underwater anywhere else in the map, only in Fontaine. So yeah. So basically, if you're swimming underwater, you're gonna go a lot faster. And to be fair, underwater swimming in Genshin Impact is really fun. It's so fun to explore, and it's so smooth to swim under. I genuinely prefer to swim underwater compared to swimming on top now, honestly. So yeah, it's really fun. So this is a very nice passive, especially because a lot of exploration is going to be underwater as well. Heir to the Ancient Seas Legacy. So this is his first Ascension passive, guys. When a party member triggers a Vaporize, Frozen, Electrocharge, Bloom, Hydro Swell, or a Hydro Crystallize reaction on opponents, 1 stack of past Draconic Glories will be granted to Neuvilette for 30 seconds. Now, this passive, guys, I'm telling you, is really, really strong, because it basically makes Neuvilette able to work with literally anyone in the game, right? Literally anyone in the game can work really, really well with him, because as long as Neuvilette has a reaction with that character and that element, even Anemo or Geo, he will work well. So Geo Crystallize and Crystallize and Swirl. Swirl is always a good reaction because it just boosts the amount of damage that elemental reactions do, right? But Crystallize actually has a use here, because if Neuvilette is paired with a Geo character and they create Hydrocrystallize, he's still getting a stack, right? And you're thinking, well, what is so good about these stacks? Well, if you've read on earlier, you'll already know. But if you haven't, let me show you or tell you. You can have up to 3 of these stacks, right? This will increase the damage of the charge attack equitable judgment by 110 to 160%. That's a lot of extra damage, right? And if you are able to get a lot of reactions going on, you'll be able to get 160% easily. Each past draconic glory stack created by each elemental reaction exists independently. So basically, if you do like a hydro swirl reaction and get a past glory stack, and then do like a hydro crystallize reaction 10 seconds down the line, they will both last 30 seconds, respective of their own timers. So obviously, that means the second one created by the hydro crystallize is going to last 10 seconds, not necessarily longer, because it started 10 seconds after, so it's going to last 10 seconds after, right? If that makes sense. So if you do Hydro Swirl, then 5 seconds after do Electric Charge, and then 5 seconds after that do Hydro Crystallize, they'll all last for 30 seconds, but their timers are going to be separate. So basically, you can have one stack, all 3 stacks going on, and then have a slow diminish from 160 to 130, down to 110, and then down to none. So you can have this buff up for a very, very long time. And if you're constantly doing reactions over and over and over again, it's going to be very easy to get these past draconic glories. So yeah, this is a very nice constellation. Not constellation. This is a very nice passive, honestly, because not only does it give Neuvilette a lot more damage, but it also makes him very, very flexible with any kind of unit in the game. Because you've got Pyro, right? Pyro, Cryo, Electro, Dendro, Animo, and Geo over here. Every single element works well with him, right? Yeah. It doesn't actually say anything about Hyper Bloom here, though. So I'm presuming it comes under Bloom as well. So, yeah. Really good passive in general. That was his first Ascension passive, guys. His 4th Ascension passive, or the Ascension passive that you get after he gets to Ascension Phase 4, is the High Arbitrar's Discipline. For each 1% of Neuvilette's HP over 30%, he will gain 0.6% hydro damage bonus, and a max of 30% can be obtained this way. So basically, guys, if Neuvilette is over 30% of his max HP, every 1% he will gain 0.6% hydro damage bonus, and a max of 30% can be obtained this way. Now, if you do the maths, guys, 0.6 multiplied by 50 is 30, right? So basically, if you get 50, you need at least 50%. You need at least 50 of these stacks, basically. 50 of these 1%, right? To get the max 30%. And 50 multiplied by 1% is obviously 50. So that means if we add on 50 plus 30%, right? Because that's the minimum amount. 50 plus 30% is 80%. So that means, in order to get the full 30%, Neuvilette has to be above 80% of his max HP. If I'm doing the maths correctly, and if I'm reading this correctly, Neuvilette needs to be above 80% of his max HP in order to get the full 30% hydro damage bonus, right? Now, this passive is really, really good. Why am I saying that? Because if you build Neuvilette with a very, very high amount of max HP, right, he is going to have, his 80% is going to be very high, right? Like, listen to this. 80% of 10, how much is, like, let's say 80% of 100. How much is 80% of 100, right? Well, let's do the math. 10% is 10, right? And 2.5% is, well, 5, 2.5. So, yeah, 80% of 100 is basically... I'm doing the math wrong. I don't know. Why did I go down to 2.5%? I'm a bit of a silly person. I should just do 10 and then multiply it by 8. I don't know what I'm thinking. Guys, this is a university student that's talking to you right now, and I can't do simple math, apparently. So, yeah. So basically 80, right? Why do I even need to calculate that? I'm a fool. I'm actually a fool. I shouldn't even need to have calculated that. I should just know. I probably did just know, but I guess I just wanted to explain it to you guys in a very simple way. Yep, welcome to university students, guys. The students that are so smart that they overthink everything and screw up on the easiest problems. So, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, 80% of 100 is 80. All right? 80% of 1,000 is 800, right? If I have 1,000 HP on Neuvilette, right, I need to have 800 health or before. That means I need to have 800 HP or over, right? That means I have 200 HP leeway before I go below 800. Whereas if I had 100 HP, right, on Neuvilette, which obviously this is a fake scenario, but if I had 100 HP, my, what's it called? My threshold is only 20, so I can only take 20 damage before I go below. Whereas with 1,000 HP, I needed to take 200 damage before I go below. Do you see what I'm getting at? The higher the HP, the higher the chance of you being above 80%. Because 80% gets higher and higher the more HP you have, right? Yeah. So let's say Neuvilette has 50,000 HP, right? 100% of 50,000 is, well, take off 2 zeros. 500, am I reading that right? Hold on. No, that's 50,000. 10% of 50,000 is 5,000, right? Multiplied by 8, that's 40,000. So basically, if I have at least 40,000 max HP, I will get the full benefit of this passive. Which means I can take, Neuvilette can afford to take 10,000, my Neuvilette build here can afford to take 10,000 HP deficit. He can get hit for 10,000 HP, right? And I will still have that benefit. Yeah. That's actually quite a bit of leeway, if you think about it. Especially because Neuvilette is going to be draining his own HP. It's not going to be optimal to get him always over 80%. It's obviously because he drains his own HP during his charge attack, if you guys remember that. It's not going to be ideal. But what I'm trying to say is the more HP you give him, number one, the more damage you do, and number two, the more you'll actually have the uptime for this passive. Yeah, and the easier it is going to be to recover it as well because of the percentage value. So yeah, you can see how strong this passive is. You can see how strong this passive is. Honestly, this passive is really good because it makes him powerful and versatile with any team. All he needs to be is just the DPS of that team, and that's it. So yeah. So enough wasting time on simple mathematics that I can't even do this early in the morning. We'll move on to his constellations. So okay, guys, I will say something. In my opinion, his early constellations are a lot better than his later constellations, I think, at least. But if you guys are reading his constellations now, you'll already come to a decision as to which one is his best constellation. But I'm going to read through them all, right? Venerable Institution C1. When Neuvilette takes the field, he will obtain 1 past draconic glories from the passive talent. So remember this passive talent, guys? He'll gain 1 as soon as he comes onto the field. He has 1, which means instead of triggering 3 reactions for the max effect, you now only need to trigger 2. So it's a nice quality of life buff there, right? You must first unlock this passive. Additionally, his interruption to resistance will be increased when using the charge attack. So that's really good because Neuvilette can still be knocked out of his charge attack, right? And obviously that's not what you want. You probably want him to be more resistant. So his C1 is a very nice quality of life change, right? If you get this, don't expect a huge damage increase. Just expect a nice quality of life increase. You're gonna get your damage faster, number 1, and number 2, you're gonna feel a lot more tankier when using him. So yeah, his C2, in my opinion, guys, is the best constellation of his. The Law Commands C2. The passive talent. This passive talent here, guys, is enhanced. Now, what does that mean? Each stack of past draconic glory stacks will increase the crit damage of his charge attack equitable judgment by 14%. So basically, on top of all of the stuff that this gives you, which is the increased damage, right? Which is the increased damage. This is now giving you increased crit damage to your charge attack. This is increasing the base damage of your, I believe it, no, it's not necessarily the base, it's actually increasing the overall attack. So this includes the base attack as well as the total attack of your charge attack, right? It's increasing it overall, and then on top of that, you're increasing the crit damage by 14%, and it can stack up to 42% because you can get 3 stacks of them. 42% increased crit damage on this guy, on his charge attack, with his C2. That's really strong. Really strong. right? You must first unlock this passive talent. So his C2, in my opinion, is his best constellation, right? So yeah, his C2 is really damn strong. So in my opinion, all you need to do is get him to C2 and that's it, really. Ancient Fiction, his C3. Increase the level of normal attack, guys, as Still Waters by 3. Normal attack. This Neuvilette, or Neuvilette, I should say, is the very first character in the game that has his normal attack increased by a constellation. Right? And the reason it's increased is because of the charge attack, right? The charge attack is his main form of damage. So I guess Hoyoverse wanted to try something. So that means if you crown him and take him up to level 13, that will take him up to level 13. That goes up to 17.53% of his max HP. A pretty decent increase from 14.47%, right? It seems small, but honestly, guys, that's actually a very mad increase, especially with the higher amount of HP you get. All right? So, yeah. His C4, Crown in Compassion, when Neuvilette is on the field and is healed by one Source Water drop... When Neuvilette is on the field and is healed, one Source Water droplet will be generated. This effect can occur once every 4 seconds. So, just to let you know, guys, I believe this passive actually applies to Neuvilette's own healing as well as external healing. So let's say you have like a Bennett on your team or a Barbara on your team and they heal you. You will generate one Source Water droplet. Yeah. Which means you won't need your elemental skill or your elemental burst to create a Source Water droplets as much as before. They will still, obviously, you'll still use them, obviously. But this is a very nice cherry on top. So another quality of life change here. This increases his burst. By 3 levels. So that also means that he doesn't actually get any increases into his elemental skill, guys. Level 10 will be the maximum for his elemental skill. So yeah. And then Wrathful Recompense as his C6. When using charge attack, Equitable Judgment, Neuvilette can absorb nearby Source Water droplets in an AoE. So if you didn't know, guys, Neuvilette could only absorb Source Water droplets, I believe, if he moved to them. So if you're charging it up and you walk or run in or move into an actual Source Water droplet, that changes it. But now it's in an AoE, right? Each absorbed droplet will increase the duration of this charge attack by 1 second, right? His charge attack doesn't actually have a duration, by the way. It's as long as the seal, because the way I've seen the gameplay, guys, and the seal actually fills up in a circle, and it will start depleting in a circle. So for every Source Water droplet you gain during the duration of your charge attack or during the build-up towards it, will actually slow down or refill, depending on the way that the actual in-game mechanics work, right? It will actually slow down or refill the seal a little bit. So yeah, that's actually really good because his charge attack obviously is really powerful, and having a longer duration of that is just better DPS. Damage per second, for those of you that don't know what DPS is. Additionally, when equitable damage hits an opponent, it will fire off 2 additional currents every 2 seconds. So basically a little bit like Ayaka's C6, where when she uses her ultimate, she can fire off 2 extra, like, you know, judgment cuts, right? If you know what judgment cut is, you know, alright, well done to you guys for playing that game. Yeah. She fires off 2 additional judgment cuts to the side. Yeah. It's the exact same thing here with Neuvilette, except instead of him firing off Judgment Cut, he fires off more, what's it called? The Giga Flare from Final Fantasy 16. If you guys know which Akon that's from, you know. But yeah, basically, like, you know the Giga Flare? Actually, let me describe the charge attack. The charge attack is basically like the Giga Flare that Bahamut has is as his ultimate. Bahamut Akon's ultimate is like a massive beam. It's called Giga Flare. Basically, it's like that. Basically, it's just a massive laser beam from that Neuvilette fires, and he can shoot off an extra 2 every 2 seconds. Yeah. Each of these will deal 10% of Neuvilette's max HP as Hydra damage, and damage dealt this way will be counted as Equitable Judgment, so charge attack damage, basically, from it. Yeah. 10% of his max HP, guys, for perspective's sake, 10% of his max HP, that's the exact same as a level 5 talent. Yeah. So his charge attack is basically going to be doing this. His C6 is going to be doing the exact same damage as a level 5 charge attack. So yeah, if after reading all of his kit, guys, safe to say this man is very, very strong. Like, Neuvilette, unironically, is going to be stupid strong because not only is his kit very, very strong in terms of the numbers as well as the scaling, right? but he's also going to be so damn easy to build, right? Because you need HP percent. None of his damage scales with attack percent, right? Sure, it's nice to have, but none of it scales with his attack percent. So you could just go for max HP. You could literally just stack HP percent, HP percent, HP percent for his artifacts, and he'll still do damage, right? He will still do damage, honestly. In fact, I don't know if I'm actually going to pull for Neuvilette or not, but if I do, I might have to run some tests on him, whether it's going to be better to build him full HP percent, exactly like Zhongli, or, you know, maybe attack percent, hydro damage bonus, or with a crit rate or crit damage goblet, and maybe even mix and match some of them. So HP, hydro, and then crit rate or crit damage, or attack, HP, crit. So you can see, guys, this guy is very versatile. You could build him like a regular DPS or like a full HP DPS as well, like just max HP on everything. Yeah, because of the way that his kit works, right? So yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting to see how he works, right? And also, because of his passive, he works in a rainbow comp, right? Which arguably is even better, because obviously getting characters of the same element is going to be a little bit tiresome for a lot of people, because they might not have all of the resources and all of the Hydra characters in the world, right? There's only 3 4-star Hydra characters in the game, right? And one of the best ones, unfortunately, does not work with Neuvilette because of the way that Neuvilette's kit works. We'll get onto the team building bit soon, guys, but now I want to go onto the weapons. So, as you all know, there are new weapons that are actually coming out in the game, but for this video, we are going to be going over only the Catalyst weapons, right? So I'm going to take a look at only the Catalyst, right? So this is the first Catalyst, right? Yeah, there are these weapons as well, but we're only going to be taking a look at the Catalyst. Now, this is the first one, the 4-star Ballad of the Boundless Blue. It gives energy recharge percent, which is actually quite nice, because Neuvilette's energy his burst is a 70 cost. So it's quite nice to have that energy recharge. Now, what value does it go up to? We shall have to see. 30%, that's a respectable amount. You don't need that much for Neuvilette because it's 70, and you're going to be, if you guys are smart, you already know the team building here. You want to pair him up with someone else that's also Hydro for the Hydro Resonance, because if you guys didn't know, the Hydro Resonance, or if you're new to the game, the Hydro Resonance is basically everyone in the party gets their max HP increased by 25%. So yeah, and obviously Neuvilette wants max HP, so yeah. So the passive is basically when normal and charge attack hits, normal attack damage will be increased by 8%, and charge attack damage will be increased by 6% for 6 seconds. You can have up to a max of 3 stacks, and this effect can be triggered once every 0.3 seconds. That's good, because normal attack, it doesn't matter that much for Neuvilette, but the charge attack is 6, so that's basically 6 multiplied by 3, so 18% for 6 seconds, and it's every 0.3 seconds. So if you're just continuously using your charge attack and hitting them with normal attacks whenever you can, you're going to get this very easily. So honestly, this is actually a really nice passive. This is actually a pretty decent 4-star option for Neuvilette, I would say. Yeah, so if you guys do happen to get this weapon, definitely try and use it on Neuvilette if you don't have any other better option. But there are better 4-star options out there, right? This is just a very nice option for him. And if you guys do want to see the refinement ranks, here they are. They'll go up to refinement rank 5, which here is 16%, and charge attack is 12% for 6 seconds. So that means the charge attack will go 12 multiplied by 3, that's 36%. Basically double of what is over here, right? Basically double. So yeah, that's very, very nice. Anyway, moving on to the what's it called? Moving back, I should say. Now back to Boundless Blue. Sorry, this is now there are 2 5-star weapons that are actually going to be in the new in the next patch. Cashflow Supervision, who is actually a part of whose what is it? 5-star weapon is actually Rio Thisles, not Neuvilette. Neuvilette is the other one, which we'll get to later, his best in slot. But yeah, you can see here, it gives critical rate, this one, 4.8%. In fact, you know what? It makes sense to actually go over his actual signature weapon. I probably should have done that first. But yeah, Rite of the Eternal Flow. Now, what's really odd, guys, is Rite of Eternal Flow gives critical damage. And if you remember correctly, Neuvilette scales with critical damage in his kit. He doesn't have any crit rate if that's the case, if you're going to be pulling for this. So you might be thinking, if his weapon doesn't give him critical rate, how on earth are we going to be able to get him critical rate? Well, we'll get onto that in a bit in the artifact section as well as the team building section. So yeah. Neuvilette's HP is increased by 16%, and when the current HP increases or decreases, charge attack damage will be increased by 12% for 4 seconds. Max 3 seconds. Max 3 stacks, right? So basically up to 36% again, right? Straight from level 1. When you reach the maximum number of stacks or refresh the stack duration, right, 8 energy will be restored, okay? This effect can be triggered once every 12 seconds. So 8 energy is a very nice amount because it's just a nice supplement for his energy recharge issues. So if you have this weapon, you won't need to worry that much about energy recharge. So yeah, I mean, it's a small amount, obviously. It's kind of insignificant, but the fact is that it's a supplement. It's there. So you don't need to worry about energy recharge as much. So you can cut down a few percent, right? So to go for the min-maxing. So yeah, very, very nice. And the crit damage goes all the way up to 88.2% here, guys. So yeah, this means that the only 5-star weapon in the game that doesn't have 88.2% now is the polearm. Hopefully that comes out soon, because obviously if I get that polearm, I could get it and put it on my Shen-He for even more damage. So yeah, and if you guys, but that's a bit off topic, but if you guys want to see the refinement ranks, here they are. I'm just going to read out the refinement rank 5. When HP is increased by 32%, HP is increased by 32%, flat out, right? Same with the refinement rank 1, that's just a flat increase, right? When current HP increases or decreases, your charge attack will be increased by 28%. 28 multiplied by 3. So 28 plus 28 is 56. 56 plus 28 is 84, if I'm remembering correctly. If I'm actually doing the math correctly. I think it's 84%. Yeah. 84% charge attack damage with this. That's a lot. That is a lot. And the energy also goes up to 12, so an even better supplement. So yeah, if you're a whale and you're going for like a Neuvilette C6 R5, you are going to beat Spiral Abyss within 0.6 seconds. I'm not even joking. I'm joking. It's obviously not going to be that quick, but you can see how strong Neuvilette is with the right resources, guys. So yeah, and then of course we'll look at the other catalyst that's out for the free-to-play weapon, for the new weapons. This is actually Rio Thisley's best in slot, guys. So this gives you critical rate, and attack is increased by 12%. When current HP increases or decreases, normal attack will be increased by 14%, and charge attack will be increased by 12%. So the charge attack is still there, but however, instead of increasing HP, it increases attack, which is still not bad, because attack is a universal stat. All types of damage is going to be scaling with attack, right? Max 3 stacks, so again 36%. Except when you reach the max number of stacks, your attack speed will be increased by 8%. Now, just to let you know, attack speed doesn't actually apply to charge attack, guys. Attack speed only applies to normal attack. I don't think it actually applies to charge attack. So, yeah. It goes up to 22.05%, and, yeah, that means it has a base attack of 674. That means at R5, attack is increased by 24%, charge attack, normal attack is increased by 28%, and charge attack is increased by 24%. So 24 plus 24 is 48, plus 24 again, that is 72. So, yeah. And it's up to 3 stacks. When you reach the maximum number of stacks, your attack speed is increased by 16% this time. So over basically around double. So yeah, is this a better option? Obviously not. It isn't, because it's more tailor-made for a Rio Thisley, and it doesn't give you the HP that Neuvilette's weapon gives you. So yeah, but this does give you critical rate. This does give you critical rate, and because weirdly enough, I don't know why Hoyoverse decided to do that. They decided to give no crit rate scaling in Neuvilette's kit, and they didn't give him a weapon that gave him crit rate either. So it's a very odd decision by Hoyoverse, or maybe it's like, maybe they're cooking. Maybe we should just let them cook. Because if you do go for that 5-star weapon, oh my god, the amount of crit damage you're going to be getting, especially with C2, yeah, that's a yikes. That's a huge yikes for any of the enemies about to go against Neuvilette. So, yeah. Now, we'll move on to the regular weapons, guys. Now, we'll go over all of them in one page. This is probably going to be a long video. All of my videos are really long. If you guys know about me, I just make long videos in general. Yeah, so we'll go against the actual 3-star options if you're in the early game. This is an elemental mastery weapon, guys. Increases damage against opponents affected by hydro or electro by 12%. So this is actually a really good option for an electro charge build if you're going to go for that on Neuvilette. This is really good. Thrilling Tales of the Dragons. This, I think, is genuinely really strong. I wouldn't say really strong. I over-exaggerated there. But because it gives Neuvilette so much HP, right? It's genuinely really good. You can kind of have Neuvilette as a DPS here, and then like a weird sub-DPS kind of build with him. But I don't know how that would work. It's really odd. But this is just a really good stat stick for Neuvilette, right? I wouldn't really go for this weapon here. Emerald Orb, this is actually a Hydro specialized weapon, because if you trigger a Hydro reaction, you increase the attack by 20% for 12 seconds. So it's nice, it's decent, right? But compared to this, I would definitely say this is better, because number one, it gives you more elemental mastery, right? And attack isn't really a thing that you need on Neuvilette, because it gives you more elemental mastery, meaning better reaction damage, and it straight up increases your damage against all opponents by 12%. This increases your attack, which isn't what your charge attack scales off of. This increases your damage by 12%, which obviously Neuvilette does. He does damage. So yeah. Twin Nephrite, this is crit rate, so this is quite nice. Defeating an opponent increases movement speed and attack by 12% for 15 seconds. So I don't know if this actually stacks. I don't think it does. So yeah, 12% increase in attack, and it gives you crit rate, to be fair. So yeah, because of that, it's actually not too bad of a 3-star option. 15%. It's not a lot, but it's honest work, you know? So, yeah, it's not a lot, but it ain't much, but it is honest work at least. So, yeah, it's there. It's there. Amber Bead, normal attack. Oh, okay. Normal attack hits increase all elemental damage by... You could do a few normal attacks. Like, you could do 2 and then go for a charge attack. In that case, if you are going to go that route. So you could go like that, I guess. But in my opinion, guys, the 2 best options for you is either Magic Guide or Twin Nephrite. Twin Nephrite if you need that crit rate early on, and Magic Guide if you just want more reaction damage. So yeah, but that's all the early game stuff done and out of the way. Next we'll move on to the 4 stars. Favonius Codex. Alright? Favonius Codex obviously is not a good option on Neuvilette because he's a DPS, and this doesn't do any form of DPS for him. Witch Sith is going to be by far his best 4-star option, I think, because what it does is it gives him crit damage, and the crit damage it gives goes all the way up to 55%, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 55%. So it's really, really good. And as for the actual passive, guys, when a character takes the field, they gain a random theme song. So after you do your full rotation and go back to Neuvilette, this can only occur once every 30 seconds. So either one of the 3 buffs, you will get one of the 3 buffs. Your attack is increased by 60%. Okay, which obviously I've been saying that attack isn't really what you want on him, but 60% attack is very, very nice, right? Increases all elemental damage by 48%. So elemental damage, that's probably the one you want to be going for or hoping to get. And then the last one is elemental mastery is increased by 240%, right? So you get any one of those buff randomly once every 30 seconds, right? There's a 20-second cooldown time, so you won't have it up most of the time. You're only going to have it up like 30% of the time, this buff, I think, something like that. So yeah, but it's all of these buffs are really, really nice. They're all really good. Right, because because Neuvilette's Hydro, Elemental Mastery is going to be good on him. Elemental damage is obviously going to be amazing on him, and attack is also obviously going to be amazing on him. So yeah, this is a really good weapon, and it gives you crit damage as well, like even more crit damage. So yeah. Sacrificial Fragments. This isn't bad because it gives you Elemental Mastery and it resets your Elemental Skill, which has like a 12-second cooldown. But the Elemental Skill isn't the main source of damage here. Yeah, and just to let you know, I don't believe you can actually gain any more Source Water droplets from his Elemental Skill. Once those 3 are out, right, you can't actually gain any more. So, yeah. Royal Grimoire, to be fair, Royal Grimoire, this might actually be pretty decent on Neuvilette, because it gives attack percent, which, again, isn't ideal, but it's a universal thing. And the thing is upon damaging an opponent, it increases crit rate by 8%. So you can have up to 40% crit rate, and a critical hit will remove all the stacks. So it's kind of unreliable, but it is a very nice crit rate increase towards opponents, right? Because if you're really unlucky, you get 40% extra crit rate, which is actually a pretty nice amount if you think about it. So this is actually not a bad option if you did get this weapon during the actual shop rotation. I wouldn't recommend it, but it's a nice option. Yeah, would I recommend it? It's actually not it's actually a pretty nice option, to be fair. I would say if you have nothing better, if you don't have the Widsith or the Black Cliff, Royal Grimoire is a very solid option. Solar Pearl, normal attacks increase the elemental skill and burst damage. Yeah, no, this is a good stat stick for Neuvilette, but that's all it is, because he's not going to be doing any damage with his normal attacks. His elemental skill and burst do deal a lot of damage, scaling with his HP, right? But they're not the main sources of damage with his kit. So I wouldn't really recommend it unless you just want all the crit rate. It's a nice option, right? It's a nice option. Yeah, you can go for it if you have it. Prototype Amber using an elemental, but this is actually not a bad option either, because it gives you max HP. So yeah, all party members will regenerate 4% HP every 2 seconds, and using an elemental burst regenerates 4 energy. So this also heals Neuvilette, just to let you know. Yeah, so this is a very nice option if you have it. Mappa Mare, triggering elemental reaction grants 8% elemental damage bonus, so up to 16% basically for 10 seconds. Again, really nice, because he's a Hydro character, he can utilize it. If you're going for a reaction-based team, which is what you want to be going, Elemental Mastery is going to be good on him. Black Cliff gives the exact same amount of crit damage as the Widsith, except after defeating an enemy, attack is increased by 12% for 30 seconds, right? And it can stack up to 3 times, so it can go up to 36%, right? And each stack is independent of each other. So again, it basically, if you trigger one early and the other one later, you'll have, you know, they won't overlap and end at the exact same time. They'll end at the separate times that they were assigned. So, yeah, really nice. Of course, it's useless in boss fights, the passive, but the crit damage is just a stat stick at that point. So, yeah. Eye of Perception. This is attack. Normal and charge attack have a 50% chance to fire a bolt of perception, dealing 240% attack as damage. The bolt can bounce between opponents at a max of 4 times, right? Just to let you know, this bolt actually counts as physical damage. This is the only weapon in the game that deals physical damage, I'm pretty sure. No, actually, that's a lie. So, yeah. This is actually quite nice, because it's an extra form of attack. And if you're going against opponents that have a high Hydro resonance, it's actually a pretty good change, right? Because you can actually deal more than 1 types of damage. Would I recommend it, though? Not really, because it's not really the best option for Neuvilette, Eye of Perception, right? So, yeah, I wouldn't recommend it, but it's not a bad option. Wine and Song. Hitting an opponent with a normal attack decreases the stamina consumption. Yeah, no, this is not a really good option for Neuvilette at all, because it's based off of normal attacks, and you don't really want to be using them at all. Frostbearer, again, is not good, because, to be fair, the entire Dragonspine series of weapons just aren't really amazing, in my opinion. Yeah, this has a chance to drop an Icicle and affected by Cryo. Yeah, this is more of a Cryo option, so if you do have someone in your party that's Cryo, going for like a Frozen build, this could prove decent, but once again, it's not the best option for you out there. Dodoko Tails. Normal attacks hit an opponent's increased charge attack damage by 16%. Attack increase. Oh, charge attack. Okay, this is actually not a bad option, because normal attack hits on opponents increase the charge attack by 16% for 6 seconds. So you could do a normal attack and then the charge attack. Yeah, and it will increase your. This is actually not a bad option if you did get it, but again, it's an event exclusive weapon, so you might not have it. This is good, but it's only good if you have Electro Charge. And then again, it gives you elemental damage bonus and energy recharge, which isn't really a stat you want to go for on a DPS. So, yeah. Oathsworn Eye increases energy recharge after using a skill. It's not, again, it's not bad, but it gives it. What you don't really want on Neuvilette is energy recharge and attack percent, because it doesn't really benefit his kit that much. To be fair, I say that, but attack percent is a universal stat. And honestly, I still think attack percent is good on him, but it just depends on the passive of the actual weapon. So, yeah. Wandering Even Star, Elemental Mastery. The following effect will trigger every 10 seconds. The equipping character will gain 24% of their Elemental Mastery bonus attack. Nearby party members for this buff for the same duration. Multiple instances of this weapon can allow this buff to stack. Wow, okay. So if you have characters that have that also have the set of this can actually stack. So straight up gives you EM, and 24% of your Elemental Mastery is given to you as bonus attack. And that's only going to get high. So, yeah, to be fair, Elemental Mastery is really good on Neuvilette if you're going for a reaction-based team. Like, guys, I genuinely think that Neuvilette is the most versatile character in the game. Because every single stat on him is actually good. Except Energy Recharge, obviously. Right? He can use EM, he can use attack percent, he can use HP percent. Like, he can actually he can use crit rate and he can use crit damage. The only stat he can't use really well is Energy Recharge. But then again, even then, Energy Recharge is still nice, but it doesn't give him any damage, right? So, yeah. This one is after the elemental reaction is triggered, gaining 24 elemental mastery while losing. Okay, so this gives you elemental mastery while losing attack. So this is still not bad, but again, it gives energy recharge. So you kind of want to avoid the energy recharge option, guys, unless they have a passive that's really, really good. Yeah. Sacrificial Jade gives you crit rate. When not on the field for more than 5 seconds, your max HP will be increased by 32%, and Elemental Mastery will be increased by 40%. This effect will be cancelled. Oh my god, this is a really good option. So basically, if Neuvilette is not on the field for more than 5 seconds, his max HP is increased by 32%. Right, this effect will be cancelled after the wielder has been on the field for 10 seconds. So you want to use Neuvilette for 10 seconds, and then that's a long time, to be fair. That's really good. HP and Elemental Mastery. So a reaction team is really good with Neuvilette, it would seem. Yeah. Flowing Purity. This is one of the new Fontaine weapons, guys. Using an elemental skill, all elemental damage bonus will be increased by 8%. For 15 seconds. Bond of Life worth 24% of the max HP is granted. This effect will be triggered every... Okay. When the Bond of Life is cleared, every 1,000 HP cleared will provide 2% elemental damage bonus up to 12%. Okay, so for every 1,000 HP... so basically, the Bond Life, guys, is 24% of Neuvilette's max HP, right? And you get... what is it? Bond of Life worth 24% is granted. When the Bond of Life is cleared, every 1,000 HP cleared in the process will provide 2%. Okay, so basically, if you clear up to 6,000 HP worth of this 24%, you'll basically get 12% and lasts for 15 seconds. That's actually pretty nice, to be honest. But it revolves around using your elemental skill. It's not a bad option, but I wouldn't say it's his best in slot, especially if you have some of the other options. We've already taken a look at the Ballad of Boundless Blue. Skyward Atlas... Okay, right. Time to take a look at the other 5... Okay, so before we take a look there, which 4-star option would I say? Oh my god. Honestly, guys, Neuvilette works really well with every single 4-star here, apart from some of the obvious ones, like, you know, Favonius Codex and... the other energy recharge options, but literally every other option here is actually so good, I cannot recommend. Obviously, you want to... The Widsith and the Black Cliffs Agate, that's really good because of what they give you. I still think Widsith is better than the Black Cliffs Agate because it gives you up to 3 buffs, or one of the 3 buffs, which is always going to be good. So either way, it's going to turn out to be amazing. They're all really good. Maybe not Sacrificial Fragments. Yeah, honestly, guys, they are all really good. All the 4-star options. Just don't go for any of the options that give you energy recharge, right? Because I don't think they're really that worth, especially with a main stat like that. But honestly, if you have which weapon was it? If you have Sacrificial Jade, anyone out there that has Sacrificial Jade, slap this on Neuvilette immediately if you get him. Because this is, honestly, in my opinion, Sacrificial Jade as well as the Widsith are tied for first place here. Because that's how good Sacrificial Jade is. I genuinely think if you want to go for Neuvilette and you have either the Widsith or Sacrificial Jade... If you have to choose between either of them, Sacrificial Jade, easily. Because it gives him the crit rate that he needs, right? To counteract the bonus crit damage that he gets from his Ascension passive. And it gives him max HP and Elemental Mastery. Like, this is easily the best one for him. The absolute best 4-star option for him is Sacrificial Jade. Then I would say is probably the Widsith. and then Black Cliff's Agate. Any of the options that give him attack percent or crit damage or crit rate, guys, any of those options that suit his needs are really good, right? But I would definitely say Sacrificial Jade, then it would be the Wiz Sith. But if you can't get any of those guys, do not fret. Prototype Amber is a very good free-to-play option here because it just gives him healing, which is actually quite good because of the fact that he's going to be needing that healing because of he can lose his HP, and it gives him a bucket load of HP. How much will it give him actually? 41% extra HP. Like, that's really nice. That is really nice. Yeah. Any other free-to-play options that I can really see here? Flowing Purity is not too bad on him because it increases his elemental damage bonus. But would I prefer this over, you know, this over Prototype Amber? Honestly, I'm not sure because this just gives you more HP, so more damage there. It heals you, so even more utility there, and it regenerates energy. 4 energy every 2 seconds. So yeah, up to 12 energy. That's really nice. That is really nice. Honestly, like, I genuinely think Prototype Amber, if you're a complete free-to-play and you have some catalysts around, right, and you have completely nothing else, just go for Prototype Amber, I would say. Honestly, it's genuinely that much better than in my opinion, than Flowing Purity. It's still a nice option, but if I had to choose between the two, Prototype Amber. So yeah, but basically, guys, for 4 stars, moral of the story, even for the weapons, Neuvilette works with anything apart from energy recharge. You don't want energy recharge on him. So yeah. Now, onto the 5 stars. Skyward Atlas. This gives attack percent, increases elemental damage bonus by 12%. Normal attacks have a chance to create this, of the cloud, dealing 160% of his attack damage, his attack as damage. Now, guys, this isn't really that brilliant on him because it relies on normal attacks, number 1. It does give him a 12% damage boost, but the thing is because the vacuum damage here scales with attack damage, you don't have a lot of attack on Neuvilette and you're not going to be building any, so I wouldn't say Skyward Atlas is a brilliant option for him. So, in my opinion, don't build Skyward Atlas on this guy at all. Lost Prayer to the Sacred Winds increases movement speed. It gives you crit rate. Movement speed by 10% when in battle, gain 8% elemental damage bonus every 4 seconds. Max up to, yeah. So up to 32% at 16 seconds until the character falls or leaves combat. If you stay on the field for 16 seconds with Neuvilette, you can get up to 32%. Obviously, you probably won't go all the way up to that, but this is still a nice ramping, you know, what's it called? Elemental damage bonus, and it gives you movement speed, and let's not forget movement speed also works, I'm pretty sure, underwater as well. So yeah, because it's technically underwater swimming, as even swimming counts as movement. So yeah, it might not, I don't know. But yeah, crit rate, very nice, very good crit rate. Memory of Dust. Now obviously this gives attack percent, guys, but thing is increases your shield strength by 20%. So if you have, like, let's say a Noel or a Zhongli, imagine him with Zhongli, that's like 2 of the most drippiest men on the exact same team. That would be pretty cool. Increases attack by 4% for 8 seconds, max attack, max 5 stacks. While protected by the shield attack, okay. Now, once again, guys, this gives you stacking attack, which isn't bad, but if you guys remember, Neuvilette does not have very high base attack. His base attack is 203, and he doesn't really rely on attack a lot. None of his kit, apart from his normal attacks and stuff, scale with attack percent. So you don't really want to be building attack percent on him, right? I would definitely say attack percent in this regard is even worse than Elemental Mastery, right? So do make sure that even in the 4-star Catalyst, guys, you don't necessarily want to be going for attack percent because of the fact that Neuvilette does not scale well with attack percent. It's nice to have on him, but you're not going to want to give him too much. It's like, let me rephrase it to make it not confusing for you guys. Attack percent is a last resort thing if you don't have anything else. It's not brilliant on him because he just can't get a lot of attack, right? So trying to scale him off of attack with the percentages is not going to work out. Attack percent is a universal stat that everyone can use, but it's not going to be brilliant on Neuvilette. But if you have nothing else other than attack percent, like you don't have EM, you don't have crit rate, you don't have crit damage, worst case scenario possible, just go for attack percent, right? In this regard, Elemental Mastery is better than attack percent. So, yeah. Jadeful Splendor. So this gives HP, which is nice. After using an elemental burst or creating a shield, gain the Primordial Jade Regalia effect. Restore 4.5 energy every 0.25 seconds and gain 0.3% elemental damage bonus to their corresponding element for every 1000 max HP they possess, up to 12%. Now, this is actually quite nice, guys, because you can straight up get a lot of elemental damage bonus out of this, as well as energy recharge. So if you have Jadeful Splendor, this is a pretty solid option, I would say. If you have it, go for it, definitely. Everlasting Moonglow, this is just a stat stick. Unfortunately, guys, this is just a stat stick because the healing bonus is nice because Neuvilette does heal himself, but this scales with this is all based off of normal attack damage. It's not going to be good for him. So if you have it, just use it as a stat stick if the worst case scenario, but if you have anything better, honestly, even if you have a better 4-star weapon, go for the 4-star because this is not really that great apart from being a stat stick. Kagurai's Verity is, again, just a stat stick. The passive is not going to be useful here at all. Do not go for this weapon unless you just want to use it as a stat stick. So, yeah. 1,000 Floating Dreams. This weapon, guys, is actually pretty decent because Elemental Mastery, party members other than the equipping character will provide the equipping character with buffs based on whether the elemental type is the same or not. If the elemental types are the same, increases Elemental Mastery. If not, increases elemental damage type of the character. Each of the aforementioned effects can stack up to 3 times. So this doesn't include Neuvilette himself. This includes the other 3 party members with him. So obviously you're going to be running Neuvilette with another Hydro character and 2 different elemental characters. So basically 64 elemental mastery and 20% elemental Hydro damage bonus. Yeah. All nearby party members other than the equipping character will have their elemental mastery. So this is a really good self-reliant team. Like you scratch my back, I scratch yours kind of team. Where if you're running reactions, this weapon is actually very nice if you're going for a reaction-based Neuvilette. So yeah. What is it? This next weapon is called Teletula's Remembrance. Normal attack speed is increased by 10%, kind of useless. After the wielder unleashes an elemental skill, normal attack. Oh, so, yeah, this weapon isn't really that good, guys. Once again, for a stat stick, maybe, but it's just normal attack damage. It's not going to do anything else other than that, right? Cash flow supervision, crit rate. Oh, yeah, we've already taken a look. So, obviously, guys... Oh, my God, what is that? Okay, so, obviously, guys, best 5-star in slot is going to be Neuvilette's weapon, right? Obviously. What the... Okay. Right. The next 5-star I would say is close second, in my opinion, is 1,000 Floating Dream... Jadeful Splendor is also up there, right? Once again, any of the crit damage options are good, but at the end of the day, the other crit damage options are just stat sticks. They don't give you passives. Something that can utilize the entire thing is probably Lost Prayer to the Sacred Winds, and most people will have this because this weapon came out in patch 1.0, basically as the game soon released. Back when I used to play the game. Back when I started the game, basically. So yeah. This is a really good option. Skyward Atlas is kind of meh. I wouldn't recommend it. Memory of Dust, I definitely would not recommend this. Jadeful Splendor and Everlasting Moonglow, I wouldn't recommend this weapon, but this weapon is pretty good for like a DPS build because it gives him HP and elemental damage bonus and energy recharge in terms of the passive. So it's actually a nice option to be fair, Jadeful Splendor. So yeah. 1,000 Floating Dreams is the best weapon here if you're going for a reaction-based team. If you're going for a reaction team around Neuvilette, definitely go for this weapon. Easily is best in slot. So, yeah. That's basically it for the weapons, guys. So to cut everything down, in short, I would basically say for his weapons, anything works. Except elemental energy recharge, I should say. And attack, like the priority I would go for priority, guys, is I would go for, honestly, crit rate or crit damage. I would probably put crit rate higher because Neuvilette doesn't get a lot of crit rate. And then crit damage. And then after that, you go for elemental mastery. Right? Elemental mastery and then attack percent and then energy recharge. That's the order I would go in. Right? Yeah. Now, bear with me, guys. I know this video is already really, really long. But we still have one more page to look at. The team builds, or the characters, or partners, whatever you want to call them, right? Now, I'm not going to go for, obviously, the optimal teams, because Neuvilette is one of those characters that just works with anyone. You could literally smack anyone on his team and it'll work well with them. Just because of the way his passives work, right? So obviously you want a Hydro character with Neuvilette because of that Hydro resonance. Now, Barbara, I would say, is a pretty solid option, a very nice healer, and she can heal you a lot, right? And with the way that Neuvilette's passive, as well as his 5-star weapon works, as well as even going for the prototype Amber, Barbara's actually going to work very, very nicely with Neuvilette, I would say. So yeah. Guys, if you have, well, everyone has Barbara because she was a free unit like 3 times if you played the game from the beginning. Who remembers that? Yeah. And if you do manage to get C6 Barbara, she can straight up just resurrect Neuvilette if he dies. So, yeah, you don't even need to worry about that. So, yeah. Xingqi, now, guys, I know you are all going to hate me for this, but Xingqi is not going to work well with Neuvilette. I don't think he will, because Xingqi's, but like the main part of Xingqi's kit is his burst, and his burst works only on normal attacks. Unfortunately, Neuvilette works with charge attacks, so Xingqi is not going to be a brilliant option for Neuvilette. It's going to be a massive waste in his kit, I think. So Xingqi's not going to be it here. Tartaglia obviously will make no sense. Mona can definitely provide a distraction because of her taunt, as well as her elemental burst, giving the doing the omen, but the omen kind of lasts for only 4 seconds. So the defense shred is only going to last there for 4 seconds. So, and if you, obviously you're going to want to stack up Neuvilette. So if you don't have any source water droplets around, it's going to take at least 2 seconds to charge it up. So Mona's not really going to be an amazing fit here. Yeah. So Kokomi is going to be pretty decent. Right, but Kokomi's burst is going to want her to be on the field. So, yeah, it's a little bit counterintuitive because that means Neuvilette isn't going to be able to get his damage off, right? Yelan is also the exact same case as Xingqi, except Yelan can provide Neuvilette with some HP if you have a Constellation 4, so I guess there's that. Ayato obviously won't work, Nilo will not work. Candice is actually a pretty good unit, I would say, with Neuvilette. Because, actually, yeah, Candice is bang on. Because Candice has a parry. So, if you're about to get attacked, swap over to Candice, perfect counter, and then swap straight back onto Neuvilette. And her burst also increases everyone's Hydro damage bonus, right, by 20%. I believe it also works on, if I'm remembering correctly, I believe it works on everyone as well. What's it called? What is it? Characters deal increased elemental oh, it's their normal attacks. Oh, okay. Oh, that's very, very unfortunate. Yeah, wow, guys. It looks like Neuvilette is not actually getting a lot of good Hydro support. Very odd, actually. Very odd, because I feel as though you kind of want to, you know, you kind of want to pair him with a Hydro character. But honestly, guys, I obviously don't have a lot of these Hydro characters, so I don't have a lot of knowledge on them. I would say Barbara is a solid option all around, right? Candice's Hydro damage bonus, elemental damage bonus, is only for normal attacks. So, charge attacks here aren't really going to be amazing, are they? Oh my god, I completely forgot about the artifacts. I'll probably do that after I do this. So, yeah. This is going to be a 1-hour video at this rate, but ayo, it is what it is. Yeah, so... Wow. I genuinely can't find any Hydro character that actually is going to pair with Neuvilette really well. I feel as though Barbara is only the really best option here. Everyone else is not really that brilliant with him. I mean, Mona's not that bad, but I would say Barbara, Kokomi, and Mona are really the only options you have. Yeah, not a lot of Hydro options to go with here, guys. So yeah, that's a little bit weird, actually, if you think about it. Not a lot of Hydro options. However, I do want to point your attention to cryo characters, guys, because I want to point your attention specifically to Rosaria. Now, if you're going for, if you're a whale and you're going for the Neuvilette's best in slot weapon, right, his signature weapon, Rosaria is going to be your best companion because she is the only support in the entire game that gives you crit rate. And Neuvilette suffers from a lack of crit rate. So yeah. I believe Rosaria is going to be really good with him, especially because she can freeze opponents, and with her constant cryo application with the ultimate, and Neuvilette being a catalyst user, literally the best elemental applier, you're going to perma-freeze characters with this. So Rosaria is a very, very strong option. In fact, Kaya's also really good because of the fact that he can apply cryo. Anyone that can apply cryo really well is a really good support for him, I should say. So, yeah. As for, I think Zhangling is actually going to be a very good support for Neuvilette as well, guys, because reverse vape, and with the Pyro Nado as well as Guoba, constant pyro application. Like, you could just be beaming there with Neuvilette, and then the Pyro Nado could be going around you all the time and just applying Hydro really, really well. Yeah. So, Zhangling is going to be really well. Bennett is also going to be nice, except obviously Bennett can't heal you all the way, but it's a supplement, right? Bennett is going to be really good. Toma as well. I don't know if Toma actually gives max HP. I don't believe he does. I don't believe Toma actually gives max HP in his kit. Yeah, I don't believe he does. Toma doesn't, guys. So Toma's not going to be brilliant. He does scale with max HP though, so there's that. But yeah, in terms of Geo characters, obviously the usual shielders like Zhongli, you know, Zhongli is going to be good. That's about it, really. Just Zhongli, Noelle for the shield. Yunjin is not going to be good here. None of them are really going to be good here. In terms of Anemo, obviously, Sucrose to give elemental, any of the Anemo characters with Viridescent Veneer, except Zhao, obviously, is going to be good. So yeah, that's really good. Lynette is might also be a decent support with Viridescent Veneer, but she's more of a DPS kind of character. Faruzan. Sayu is also a pretty nice healer as well. Any of the Anemo characters with a Viridescent Veneer here, guys, is really, really nice. In terms of Electro characters, Lisa with her defense shred is going to be quite cool, especially with the constant electro charge. Beidou's not going to be good here, guys, because of the fact that her burst relies off of normal attacks, and that's not going to be... Fischl is always going to be brilliant because her constant electro application is going to be amazing. Raiden Shogun again can help with the energy recharge. That is going to be very, very nice. So yeah, Kujo Sara kind of useless, Yaimiko useless. Kuki Shinobu with the tenacity of the Millilith, I would say, is on point. Yeah, and then as for Dendro characters, I don't have too much experience with the Dendro characters, guys, but Dendro characters, anyone that can give off Elemental Mastery as well as apply Dendro really easily for Hyper Bloom and Bloom is going to be really nice. Now, before we leave, I am going to have to take a look at the artifact set. So yeah, we're going to take a look at the artifact set. Gloss over them, guys. So obviously Blizzard Stray is not good. None of these sets here are good. Gladiator's Finale is only normal attack, so that's not good. Yeah, none of these options are really brilliant here, guys, except listen, hear me out, right? Solar Pearl, what is it, that the one that does hold on, let me see if I have it here. Yeah, Eye of Perception paired with this, right? Charge attack damage increased by 50% after defeating an opponent. Let me cook, alright? This could actually be quite good if you have it with Eye of Perception. Of course, it's useless in boss battles, but that's not a bad option if you want to do that. Retracing Belite, if you have a shielding unit, is good. Heart of Depth is actually pretty good because he can have 100% uptime because the cooldown is 15 seconds, and Neuvilette has a cooldown of 12 seconds. So he can utilize Heart of Depth really well if you guys want to go down that route. Tenacity of the Millilith, the 2-piece is going to be good on him because HP percent, but the 4-piece is not going to be that great because Neuvilette doesn't do that much damage with his, or that much instances of damage with his elemental skill for it to work. Pale Flame is useless. Juvenal's Reminiscence isn't a bad option, guys, but the thing is you will have to give up on getting your elemental burst up as much as possible, unless you have someone like Raiden Shogun on your team to constantly supply energy recharge and energy particles to you consistently, right? So unless you have Raiden Shogun, I don't think this is going to be a brilliant option, but 50% not charge attack damage. That's highly nice. That's very, very nice. So yeah, Husk of Oculent Dreams is not good. That's not good. Vermilion Hereafter. This basically works after you use your Elemental Burst, guys. And every time you lose HP, you'll get increasing attack, right? And it sucks up to 4 times here. So you'll get 8% here, plus 10%, up to 4 times. 40 plus 8. That's 48% for 16 seconds. And Neuvilette loses HP every 0.5 seconds, guys, if you go back to his kit. You can see here, 8% HP loss every 0.5 seconds. So, yeah, he can use Vermilion hereafter quite well, right? Echoes of an Offering is kind of not good. Deepwood Memory, not good. Gilded Dreams. This is after you trigger an elemental reaction, guys. It basically gives you attack percent for each party member who's the same as you, and elemental mastery for everyone that's different to you. And you will be running Neuvilette with a different kind of party setup, it would seem. So, yeah. This is actually very nice for even more elemental mastery and attack. Basically, if you're going for a reaction-based Neuvilette, this is actually really, really nice if you want to go for that. So, yeah, like a reaction build if you want to go around like a, you know, like a Hyper Bloom build on him where you set everything down and then Neuvilette's like, you know, Bahamut Giga Flare Beam, basically. This is useless. Flower of Paradise lost. After triggering a Bloom or Burgeon reaction, right? Your reaction damage is increased by 40%. So this focuses mainly on reaction damage, guys. So if you're going for a reaction-based build on Neuvilette, then this is really good on him. So yeah, Nymph's Dream, this is actually quite strong on him because you could go with this. Hydra damage bonus by 15% after normal charge and plunging attack. If you do any instance of attack on Neuvilette, you get a Mirrored Nymph, and it can stack up to 3 or more times. Your attack's going to be increased by 7%, and your Hydra damage is increased by up to 15%, right? And each stack exists independently. This is a really good set on him, guys, if you got the 4-piece, because of the Hydra damage bonus, right? Up to 15%. This is the 2-piece is quite good, but I genuinely don't think that the rest of the kit is actually that good, in my opinion, because it focuses on elemental skill and burst damage. In my opinion, guys, the absolute best in slot for Neuvilette, though, is going to be this set, Marichuse Hunter, because it gives him the crit rate that he needs, right? He needs a lot of crit rate, and it gives him up to 36% crit rate. And if you pair that with, obviously, someone like Rosaria, who gives up to 15% if you build her right, that is up to 51%. 51% crit rate. Yeah. Which is very, very nice. Very, very nice. So, Marichuse Hunter is definitely going to be Neuvilette's best in slot, especially with the fact that he needs that crit rate, right? And if you pair this set with him and Rosaria, 51, plus the 31% from a crit rate helmet, that's like 82% crit rate, which is ridiculous if you set everything right. The Golden Troop set is completely useless on him, guys. So, in my humble opinion, Marichuse Hunter is going to be his best in slot. Nymph's Dream is going to be really good. Any of the elemental reaction sets are also going to be really, really good on him. Some of the older sets, like, Heart of Depth is going to be really good. And if you are completely mad and wild, Pale Flame, Bloodstained Chivalry, just go for that as well. So, yeah. All in all, guys, what do I have to say about this guy? He is very versatile, except for whatever reason, I can't seem to find a lot of supports that will be brilliant with him because of the way that his kit works. So, yeah. He's really versatile. He's pretty easy to build, especially because of the fact that you're going to be going for his artifact sets, guys. I think you could honestly just go full HP if you wanted to. HP percent, HP percent, HP percent. Or you could go for HP percent, Hydra damage bonus, and then crit rate, because crit rate he is going to need. So HP percent, HP percent, crit rate, HP percent, Hydra damage bonus, or and crit rate, or attack percent, Hydra damage bonus, and then crit rate. You could just do something like that. You can mix and match with him, basically. It really doesn't matter what you build on him, because I think he's going to be really strong. You obviously want to prioritize HP percent, but yeah, this has probably been a 1-hour video, guys. I'm pretty sure it has. Terribly sorry for taking everyone's time up, but I just decided to go into detail a lot. So, yeah. I have been Carvenus14, everyone. I hope you enjoyed yourselves, and I will see you all again very, very soon. Goodbye.